Woo! What's going on, guys? Orange Form coming at you guys today with a video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Detroit Lions. And the Detroit Lions made some moves. They made a moves in the coaching department. They hired tight ends coach Steve HEIDEN, 46 years old, former player turned coach. Lions bringing in another player into the mix of coaches. They have like, 6 or 7 coaches that have played in the NFL or something like that. I think they lead the NFL with former players turned into coaches. Now, this is a strategic move. Now, I'll talk about that in a little bit, but right off the bat, he's the former NFL player, 6'5", 275. He went to South Dakota State. He was the South Dakota State Jackrabbit, drafted in 1999, round 3, pick 69 by the San Diego Chargers. Played for them from 1999 to 2001. Then he got traded to the Cleveland Browns. It was 2002, 2009. Acquired some injuries, had some ankle injuries, and then he had some neck spurs that he ended up retiring. Pretty serious when it started involving your head and your neck and stuff like that. He didn't want to totally quit football, so he ended up retiring. Played 11 years in the NFL, but he ended up retiring because he was a little bit concerned about his neck, but didn't want to get away from the game. Ended up coaching two, 3 years later down the road. Was hired in 2013 by the Arizona Cardinals. Now, his college stats, he had 112 catches, 1,499 yards, 13.4 yards per catch, and 8 touchdowns. He was a tight end as well. And then playing 10, 11 years in the NFL, he had 201 catches, 1,689 yards, 8.4 yards per reception, and then he had 14 touchdowns as an NFL football tight end. Now, this was a guy, like I said, he had to retire in 2010 because he had those neck spurs after being released by the Cleveland Browns. Took a hiatus away from football for 2-3 years, and then got hired, like I said, by the Arizona Cardinals, and became he coached some special teams. He was an assistant special teams coach, assistant tight ends coach, and then officially became their tight ends coach in 2019 for the Arizona Cardinals. Stuck around coached at Arizona for 10 years. And then now he's going to be going into his 11th season as a Detroit Lions head coach, tight ends coach. Now this, like I said, this is a strategic move, and I'll explain it to you on what I think is going to be happening here. Okay, we all know what happened last year, 2 years ago, 2021. Okay, when they hired Anthony Lynn. Anthony Lynn became our OC. Didn't work out that well. Got demoted. Got thrown into outer space, and then Dan Campbell started calling the plays. Ben Johnson was our tight ends coach. He got promoted to passing game coordinator. Now, what's going on now? 2022 rolls around. They make Ben Johnson the OC. He's calling the plays. He is the guy. And what they did was Tanner Engstrand, who's on our team right now, is the tight ends coach and the passing game coordinator. Okay, are you following me here? So you're not going to go out and you're not going to go hire another tight ends coach and bring him in and have 2 tight end coaches. It doesn't really make any sense. I wouldn't think that they would do that, especially with the tight end situation over here not being really the focal point of our offense. We use the tight ends, don't get me wrong. I think we broke a record with our tight end units getting the most touchdowns in Lions franchise history with 12 or 13 or whatever it was. So, that included Hawk, Shane Zylstra, Brock Wright, James Mitchell, all those guys added to it. Now, this is a strategic move. This is what teams do. This is what good organizations do, and hopefully this is a trend that the Lions can keep continuing, because you look at this move and it speaks volumes on what's going to happen in the future. They are preparing themselves for the departure of Ben Johnson. This basically is what this move screams to me. Now, I'm not going to take away from Steve HEIDEN getting hired over here as a Detroit Lions tight ends coach. That's not what I'm trying to do here, but this is a strategic move. Ben Johnson is our OC for 2023. We all know what happened here. I even made a video about it, about him possibly leaving in 2023 and 2024. He had 2 interviews this year for 2023, and then he was about getting ready to go to a Carolina interview, and he put a kibosh on that and told the NFL world, I did my 2 interviews with Houston, and I think it was the Colts he did. And then he told Carolina and whoever else that he was off the head coach market, that he was coming back to Detroit to be the OC for 2023 and maybe beyond. But 2023 for sure, Lions gave him a substantial amount of money, gave him a pay raise, much deserved, and the rest is history. Now, if you follow what was going on, Ben Johnson was this is the path I think that they're taking here. They're like I said, strategic move. Ben Johnson, preparing Ben Johnson's departure, probably in 2024, which is, I think, is more than likely going to happen now. I think it's almost in stone on what's going to happen there. So Tanner Engstrand being the passing game coordinator, same as Ben Johnson was 2021, he's going to be, I think, this year, 2023, right in Ben Johnson's hip. He's already a big part of this offense. He's already drawn up plays for Ben Johnson's offense as we speak. He did that big, he drew up that play that was in Green Bay, the one where Goff threw it away to St. Brown. St. Brown kind of grabbed it and shoveled past it to, I believe it was Swift, and Swift almost ran for a first down. But then they got the first down on that 4th and 3 or 4th and 4, whatever it was, to seal the win. Apparently that was Tanner Engstrand's play that he drew up. So he's a part of the offense. He is Ben Johnson's right-hand man. He's literally in his pocket. So what they're doing here is, I think they're going to focus Tanner Engstrand for this year to be groomed by Ben Johnson for a possible Tanner Engstrand being named the offensive coordinator in 2024. That's what this move screams to me. You're not going to bring in another tight ends coach and have 2 tight ends coaches. I'm sure Tanner's, he can always have input, but Steve Heiden's been doing this for 10 years. He's been doing this for 10 years. I don't think he's going to really need, of course he's going to need assistance and help and stuff like that. There's other coaches, but this is a strategic move. This is a move basically telling the NFL or telling the Detroit Lions fan base, be prepared for Ben Johnson to be gone in the future. That's exactly what they're saying here. And this is what good organizations do. This is what smart GMs, smart coaches do. They groom their assistants, their helpers to be better and to get promoted within the system or even onto another team. That's what they do. And this is a good move by the Detroit Lions because you're preparing yourself. You're absolutely preparing yourself for the departure of Ben Johnson. I can keep saying it over and over again. Just want to make sure people get it. So that is what I think happened here. Steve Heiden is he was a decent football player. Don't know much about him in the coaching department, but he helped coach up guys like Max Williams and Trey McBride, like I said, for the Cardinals. But other than that, don't know a whole hell of a lot about Steve Heiden. But what I do know is, or I think I know is that this is a very strategic move, and it's a good move because Ben Johnson's going to be gone. You can see Tanner Engstrand jumping into the OC next year, and Steve Heiden just staying as the tight ends coach. It just makes sense because we've seen it in 2021 when Ben Johnson was the passing game coordinator. Tanner Engstrand's the passing game coordinator right now. So you're going to see Tanner Engstrand completely in his hip, all on the sideline all year. Watch. This is what I predict. And I think a lot of people can probably agree with me. It just makes the most sense. And as an organization, you have to back yourself up. You have to protect yourself. And it's all about grooming that next guy into a possible better job title. OC, head coach, anything. And this is what I think is happening. So this is a good move, man. You hired a good coach in Steve Heiden. I don't know a lot about him though, so I can't say he's a great coach, but he must be a pretty good coach that this organization trusts him, like a Brad Holmes. Dan Campbell. One thing to say about Dan Campbell is, he's not the perfect coach. He made a mistake of obviously hiring guys like Anthony Lynn, Aubrey Pleasant, bringing in those kind of guys like that. But that's going to happen. Hopefully Steve Heiden's not one of those guys. But you could just see the wheels turning. And you just know what's going on here. It's all about going to the next guy. It's all about a dominoes effect. So Tanner Engstrand, I can't see him being a tight ends coach this year. It's going to be Steve Heiden, obviously. And then Tanner Engstrand is going to be literally in Ben Johnson's back pocket. And they will be, Ben Johnson will be grooming Tanner to be either the next OC here or maybe the next OC somewhere else. Or he could even take him to wherever he goes. Who knows? But this is a good move by the Detroit Lions. It makes a lot of sense. I really like the move. This is what good organizations do. This is what good coaching, good GMs try to do, man. They try to build up for the future. And this is this is a future move. So that's it, guys. Thanks for the video. I appreciate everybody coming in and watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button at the bottom right. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Get all my videos. And don't forget to like, comment, share this out. Steve Heiden, new tight ends coach. I think Tanner's getting a little bit of a bump up. Ben's going to be grooming him. I love what I'm seeing in the future, guys. Go Lions, one pride, baby. Boom.